pharmaceutical company that just sold back Monsanto's holding of Whole Foods to Jeff Bezos, and I hope it's in better hands now. It's such a blessed place to be able to get organic produce. All right, so let me just go into this. That was quite an opening for us to kind of...
It is, but there's a
well, I needed to vent.
passion.
I needed to vent a little bit at the very begining, so
We got it out better.
it helps me settle down. All right, so the special issue,
Good, Adam.
Into Medicine's Future. I'm going to try to keep people's names out of it, but the article's written by somebody on the staff there at this opening article at National Geographic. And when we asked veteran journalist month's issue, the first thing she did was volunteer to be, in her words, a research guinea pig. She got her genome sequenced. She didn't hesitate. After all, she told me, she's never understood some people's skittishness about medical testing and learning what may or may not loom in their health future. You're not safer if you don't know, she says, sensibly enough, and you can find out things that are very useful and that you can do something about. She wanted her own experience of what's come to be known as precision medicine, and I'm going to come back to that. That's a very important distinction between what they're saying and what the truth really is. Unlike older medical models that tend to lump patients together and treat them for a category of illness, this approach uses gene research and data analytics to tailor prevention, diagnosis, and treatment to a person's unique biochemical makeup. She goes on and says, in decades to come, its advances will upend the way medicine traditionally has been practiced. Then it goes on to say, at Stanford University, where she enrolled in a detailed biochemical profiling study for this assignment, her experience began not with needles or swabs, but questions from a genetic counselor. She goes on to say, did I understand that DNA sequencing might produce actionable results, such as the BRCA mutations for breast and ovarian cancer, the problem that had famously spurred Angelina Jolie to undergo a preventive double mastectomy, she writes. Did I understand the test also might reveal problems I can't do anything about, such as the APOE4 gene, which elevates the risk of Alzheimer's? Did I want to learn all findings? Anyway, the staff writer goes on to say, I won't spoil the story, but while she awaited the results, my stomach surprised me by nodding in protest. Would she find out that she might follow her father's fate, a slow decline in dementia? Or might she more resemble her mother, still living on her own at age 94, playing mahjong and dancing at the senior center? Another surprise, she told me later, that she was fascinated to learn that the same genetic counselor who asked her all those questions has not had her own genome sequenced. She has not had her own human genome sequenced. She hasn't decided if she wants to know, is what she had told her. As researchers develop tools not imagined even a decade ago, and I can't stress that enough, not even a decade ago, to edit our genes, predict our risk of disease, even shape the biomedical future of our children, individuals and societies must think critically about the implications. We believe that's best done on the basis of sound facts and science, the foundation for the coverage you'll find in this special issue. Well, that last statement was nothing but a bunch of BS. They always use this. You know, we're here telling you stories, and they'll always come back and say, well, there's no scientific proof of that. And that is such a ridiculous lie. They won't do any studies on this because there's no way to make $3.5 trillion a year from this truth that we're trying to share is profound. I just can't stress enough that we're going to be revealing some contrast right here that just...
Well, the perspective is everything. And so when we are really saying this is the American Medicine Wheel's perspective.
When I come back, I'd like to go into the contrast now and highlight a few things from just that little bit that I read.
All right. And this is the Second Genesis Awakenings radio show. I'm your host, Deborah Bruin-Tout, and I'm here with wonderful Adam T. Gardner. We'll be right back. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. And welcome back. This is Deborah with the Second Genesis radio show here with Adam T. Gardner. And we were just going into the medical future that's in the issue of the 2019 January of National Geographic. And you were going to share a little bit more on the article into the medical future.
Well, they're calling this the future of medicine, and I'm kind of giggling inside because, well, we really are the future of medicine here at America's Medicine Wheels. And when people get that initial experience, they're just going to explode inside with a joy of a hope they never knew existed. And they can run their own experiment, get valid results within 24 hours going into what we call the Second Genesis protocol of life.
Which is eating from the origins of...
It's bringing in the intelligence of the plant kingdom that's genetically wired, that's epigenetically ordained by creation, Mother Nature.
And it's automatic.
And it's all automatic. You know, it's about what's going to taste good today.
Right.
You know, because our appetites are going to change as these modalities that we've lined out in our curriculum take hold in a person. They're going to start flushing out all that filth that's causing all the troubles. I don't care what sickness or disease it is. It's a chronic condition of diet and lifestyle. So I want to go back into this.
Great.
This opening by the staff writer at the magazine.
Okay.
So she's talking about this gal that's written all the articles in these stories that are in this issue. After all, she told me, she's never understood some people's skittishness about medical testing and learning what may or may not loom in their health future. All right. So there you go. They're telling you that get your human genome mapped out because you need to know all the stuff there so that you can begin treatments today for blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah blah. Well, I can tell the entire world right now, you continue eating dead animal flesh, dead man-made foods, calling that food. Well, you're going to have the experience you're going to have, which is continuing deeper and deeper into all the chronic conditions of sickness and disease.
Well, and what we focus on expands, and again, what we are what we eat.
It's completely contrary to what we are as a biological creation of Mother Nature.
That's what
I don't care that it's been going on for thousands of years.
Yes.
Our geneticists are saying we're supposed to be living hundreds of years. That's the kind of species we are.
Yes, they are saying that.
Yeah, and they're spending hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars in the UK and in America and in Brazil and in China trying to create an antidote for what they consider to be the aging and death hormone, because they've mapped out an activation of a genetic sequence that is inactive in us from birth till between the ages of 18 and 24, and then for some, what they say, unknown reason, it activates and starts secreting this hormone that begins this aging and death process. Up till that point, the cells are multiplying and dividing in the growth of being human with this life, with this strength. And then, between those ages, we start to feel something change inside us. All of a sudden, we get to these questions of, is this all there is? Is this all there is to being human? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that, and my own kids said
and
that.
And there's days I have here and there.
They got married, they were so happy that first few months, and then a year goes by, and every one of them came to me and said, "Geez, Dad, is this all there is?" And I said, "No, you gotta..."
Well, there's a song like that, "Is this all there is?"
Well, by that point, I was fully enmeshed in my own experience of plant-based everything. All right, so right off the bat, your genetics do not define what your future is going to be.
That's what when you told me that, and I started to eat this way and be this way and be my own experiment, I found that to be true.
Well, it's...
It's really joyful.
Well, it is. It's something where they're not saying this, but our genetics are not cast in stone.
Right.
They can be turned on and turned off.
Right.
It's only 1% of the human genome that's actually active.
Right.
There's 99% of the human genome that they call junk DNA. It's not junk DNA. Who knows what we really can be? There is an enormous amount of DNA inside us, just like they say humans don't use more than 10% of their brain, and then they say, well, not really. They're not even using 5% of their brain, and it's like, well, let's look at it even like you have no idea how little of the human brain mankind is really accessing, even though we're in this enormously powerful age.
That's what we get passionate about at the
Well, this is what I'm saying. When you get into this kind of life, and you start shutting off genes inside you and turning
natural, Mother Nature.
Yeah, this is Mother Nature turning the genes off that are not good,
right,
and turning other genes on that are good. See, that are for regeneration. But it's on principles that nobody's talking about, which is a genetic purity. A genetic purity. Angelina Jolie.
I love that so much, genetic purity.
Yeah. We have this argument over and over and over again of, well, what constitutes human food, And it's like, well, that's just ridiculous.
So what about Angelina Jolie in this article?
Well, I mean, they praise her for, being such a powerful force and whoa, my gosh, let's go masticate ourselves. Let's go do this thing to save some destined future. And it's just a lie. See, the real truth is women in breast cancer, all right, in the mammary glands is this high concentration of lymph nodes. It's just a simple thing to understand. Lymph nodes are part of our lymph vessel system. Everywhere we have an artery, everywhere we have a capillary,
right,
and everywhere we have a vein, those two are running side by side because one goes out and the other goes back to the heart.
Right.
There's also a third, which is a vessel called lymph.
The lymph vessel.
Now, the lymph vessel is right at the key of our immunity. Bottom line is, we have these mechanisms inside us that search out and destroy cancer cells. And the lymph nodes of the lymph system are these gathering places for tearing those cancer cells apart. The problem is the standard American diet is just filling us with gunk and gunk and gunk. It's coating our cells. They're finding out that this coating from all that animal fat, all that cholesterol, is stopping our cells from